Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk to you today about the U.S. occupation of Haiti. And right now, there's a lot of gang violence in Haiti. And Haiti, last year, had their president assassinated. Their president was assassinated. And gang control and gang rivalries and gang violence is just rife in Haiti right now. But you do not need to blame the U.S. occupation of Haiti that happened on what's going on right now. That has very little, if anything, to do with the current crisis in Haiti. And let me explain this. Okay, from 1915 to 1934, the United States did occupy Haiti. Haiti did retain a president, but it had to be appointed by the United States. The Haitian police had to be appointed by the United States. And Haitian police officers were not allowed to wine and dine at U.S. military officer clubs because of their skin color. Even the Haitian president was denied doing so. So there was some racism, there was some, and it was a U.S. occupation. But here's the thing. There was a lot of turmoil and political unrest in Haiti before 1915. The Germans in World War I had already sent telegrams to Mexico called the Zimmerman telegram that was promising if Mexico entered World War I on the side of Germany, that Germany would help regain the lost territory that Mexico had in World War I. And it was just a ploy to get Mexico to join the Central Powers. Germany didn't care anything about Mexico at the time. Well, they were worried that since Haiti controlled access to the Caribbean Sea, from where it was situated, very close to Miami, and Haiti had a geographical significance. Well, there was a lot of political turmoil in Haiti at the time. Before the U.S. came in and occupied Haiti, they were worried that a German takeover was going to be imminent. And while the U.S. did not officially enter World War I until 1917, the United States had a lot of strong trade relationships with Britain and France. They were really, you could argue they were never neutral in World War I in a lot of ways because of the strong trade relationships that they had with Britain and France. Well, the U.S. feared a German takeover of Haiti. That's why they went in and occupied Haiti. And before the occupation, U.S. investments in Haiti were very, very low. U.S. investments in Cuba, at the time, Cuba wasn't under communist control. And the U.S. investments in Cuba were 50 times higher than what was in Haiti. So it was an example of imperialism. It was an example of white supremacy while they conquered Haiti. It was an example, like I said, of imperialism, white supremacy, or just trying to take over the world. No. Haiti had a geographical significance that had the U.S. not occupied Haiti, that Germany probably would have. And in less than 20 years, the U.S. turned Haiti back over to them. And during that time, while the Haiti's president had to be appointed by the U.S. and approved, it really wasn't true democracy or true democratic elections that was allowed. Speech against the U.S. was tolerated to a certain extent, but not really. But however, 210 bridges were built, more than 1,000 miles of paved roads were built during that time. Public health care in Haiti increased, the quality of public health care increased very well. Lifespan of the average Haitian increased during that time. And also, the Haitian population increased. So, tropical diseases were a lot lower during the U.S. occupation of Haiti. And so there were some good things that came out of that occupation, whether if one wants to agree with it or not. There were some good things that came out of that occupation. So to blame what's going on currently right now in Haiti on the U.S. occupation that happened, that started over 100 years ago, about 107 years ago, that is wrong. And you don't need to be doing that. So hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.